we're back in the room.
Wow.
We're back in the room. Everybody, go.
Good morning. Today we're going to present you the two websites we decided to choose to analyze. And the first one is Studio Mood website, which is a visual communication and graphic design studio based in Bolzano, Italy. And the second one is Frame72, which is the website of a hand and digital illustrator based in Rome, Italy.
First of all, let me talk about the layout of Studio Mood. And they have a good design of the homepage, and you can see the layout is clean and use the black, blue, and the right color to create a model color match, and it was so eye-catching. And the website is really easy to use. From my experience, the menu are varied, and I can find the information very easy. When user open the home page, they can see the menu directly and click that if they need. And it was important as the homepage is first impressions for users, and it will affect the user's feelings. So for this part, they have done very well. And however, they show the brand new graphic design on the page, and the title is under the work. This is good because of the layout is simple, no more color and a picture to cover the page. So user can very clear that what is the new creations and the information about the work. And after, if they want to find the other work, they just push the button of the mood board, then they can watch more high value creation. And then we find that the Instagram is one of the main social networks to connect with their client. And they are so smart because in nowadays, social media is an important way to promote business, and they did it. And this is their IG, Instagram, sorry. And they post many.
Because I'm old, you have to say the whole word.
And they post many picture and video, which is the artwork and inspiration and the processing for the artwork. And that can make the client or the user more understands their purpose and what are they doing now. And the last, the end of the web page, they create a so special page which will show the different questions such as, do you believe in luck, or what are you plan for this weekend? This is such a communication with user on the website, and I think this is really warm and funny. Yes, I will pass the next part to my group.
In fact, about the user interface and experience on the website, you can see that they use quite big images directly on the homepage, so you can scroll down and directly have a good idea of their works without clicking on it and going through other pages. Also, the scroll flow of the website, it's really nice. You can you have this kind of layout which gives you an idea of the style of the studio, and also with the questions that you have on the footer that Ellen already told you about. If you click directly on them, you already go to the email, and you can just send them.
I'm just trying to force you to tell them how your weekend went.
No, it's just about if you want, you just click on it, and you can directly send them an email, which I think gives like a more human touch of the website. And also about the about and contact page are really well described. In fact, you can have nice information about the two founders of the studio, and you can have them in 3 languages, Italian, German, and English. The only thing may be that they have really lots of different emails to contact them, in terms of if you need to contact them for business or just for information or to become a client, and this may get a bit confusing, but for the rest is generally clever exposed.
Also, this is about the work exposition, and every work is clearly exposed, and thanks to a great layout, as you can see and as you have just seen. I mean, the web page is very clear, and all the pictures are very big and clear.
They're consistent as well, aren't they? Yeah.
Sorry?
They're consistent.
Yeah.
They're all, they're all kind of similar size, similar layout.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are a visual design agency, so that's their work also.
Yeah.
And there's also great user interaction, which allows the user to share, like, or also comment the works, and all these things together makes the work experience visible, but also very transparent, because it's a transparent way to show that your works, but it's also a transparent way to make the user have a contact and a relation with their works that they are focusing on.
There's an excellent language, transparent. There's a transparency about the interface, which means it's kind of like being playful, but it's not just a transmission system. And I think it's really good that you've picked up on that, and I think you've exposed that really well. Yeah.
So this is the second website.
So this is the second one.
Bad one, yeah.
This is the second one. And
Wow.
yeah. For thing 7.2, which is really stack design on homepage. And actually, I don't know, is it a homepage?
There's a cow on it.
That's a whole page.
Or a buffalo or
page.
something.
And the typeface is not related to any concept, so it was really unclear and confusing. And for me, the website is difficult to read because of the color and the red and yellow type with the black background shape. The color match is unsatisfying for me because it's so terrible.
Yeah.
And for the artist, it's quite disappointing. And the most problem with the website is the website is not user friendly, because on the page we can see no menu or wayfinding. There are almost every information on the one page and no menu or button to help the user to find they want. And
I love your annotations, by the way. I think just the circling is
Yeah.
very, very useful.
And it was inaccessible because when I want to go to the next page, I need to slide the end of the web page, and the page is too long, so I need to use much time to slide and to find the button. And the last, I think this space can remove to make the web page more clear and provide a comfortable visual sense for the users. Yes.
In this case, we don't really get how to get in contact with the illustrator, or how to manage, how to divide his works and how to explore them. We just have these small pictures somehow that are interrupted by text that are from the illustrator, or that are other comments, because in fact this website is a blog. It's not a. It's not really a website. So you don't really know how to also interact with him, and I won't really talk about user interface or experience, because there isn't really.
Yeah.
It's just about having some works shown, and yes, if you wanna see a work that you find in the scroll flow, you can click on it and you can get a bigger image, but it's always more clicks than you need, differently from the other website.
So yes, here we come to the last part, and which is the comparison. And I would like to say that what makes the websites so different between them is how they reach their goals, their authors' goals, and we might say that the main way to reach their goals is thanks to some main characteristics, which are style, works, concept, and organization. And which are really different for each site. For example, if we talk about style, in the first website, style is aligned and to their concept and to their way of presenting themselves. While the second one doesn't have any style and doesn't say anything. And if we also look at the works that they are developing and they are showing, we can find that both of them are showing very nice works, but actually what makes the difference is the way that they are presenting them. So, as you can see, Frame 72, he's a very skilled author. Also, they are, but the way they're presenting their works is influencing the layout.
Also, I think it's influencing how the work is perceived as well. We almost aren't even bothered making a judgment about the quality of the work on that second site because we haven't even got that far.
Yeah.
Because you kind of get turned off or you get put off.
Mm.
Yeah.
And yes, by the way you are showing us their work, you are also telling us how the website is made, which this can turn in a good experience for the user, and this doesn't happen for Frame 72 website, which is actually a more confusing website than anything else.
Okay.
It's like a good product, but with a bad packaging. I mean, no one would like to.
Yeah. And that's a really good point. It's
So,
a good product
yeah.
with a bad packaging.
By
That's a
viewing-
quotable quote.
Yeah, and the whole view of this website, the complexity work, is for the first one is well communicating, and the second one is just seems like he's happy to share. I mean, his work with each other. So yes, and there we have our last part with.
So for the group,
questions, yes.
did you find our use of the term style appropriate to the brief we had? Do you think the way an artwork is shown can influence on its perception in a way that can change your opinion about it? And I jumped in there just because you're a little mumbly, so I wanted to make sure people can hear. Also, when the teacher speaks, it wakes up the people who went, I think there's a break next. So those are the questions. I think just throw it open generally. What's the comments? I think you've done it. First of all, well done. Round of applause. Woo! Woo! Okay. And the second thing is just comments in general, and we can work our way back to these questions. So,
Okay, can I ask you a question? Could you please go to the first website?
You mean
Yeah. What?
to go on the
Yeah.
on the website or our page?
Yeah, in the website.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think scroll down, please.
scroll down.
Yeah. Yeah. Just scroll, and after that go to the work section.
Work section?
Yeah, when they show their work.
Are you sure?
Yeah. So, I think it's like different languages. So, the first homepage, go to the homepage, please.
He's making you work, isn't he?
So, the layout is different, the language is different, everything. Here there is a way to show their work which is different than the other page. It's also another site.
It does feel like another site, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's another site. It's another
is.
domain. It's another site.
So, guys, is
It's-
is that something that's working? Do you think?
It's a question for.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I do beg your pardon. Scroll down. Okay.
I think that the fact is that the homepage is like a general exposition of not just works but also the style, the mood, the workflow, and all. It's all together. mood board is like a special, particular page they created to show their works. But in fact, the language, it's not different just because you don't have the blue background anymore. Because in fact, the style it's always the same. So it may change the conception of it because you have different colors because you don't have this impact blue and
Well, I think
stuff, but it's more because you have to concentrate on the work themselves.
Yeah.
It's no more a presentation. It's just okay. These are the works, and
But I think it's also fair to, and again, we can just guess, but I think it's fair to surmise as well that this is collaborative. So the artist, the individual artist loses creative control where it's a collaborative thing. And that happens a lot, and I've seen that myself with putting websites together for the studio that I'm involved with, where you have a studio look, and then they wanted to have everyone's homepage from their own website as the profile page on the studio website. But then they were trying to tell us to change our homepage into the color scheme to fit, and it became quite personally difficult. Some of the companies had been established for 30 years, and this, you're saying about old people, this 23-year-old graduate from graphic design here was telling them that they should redesign their 30-year-old business and logo so that his website looked nicer. And what most people did was they just pulled themselves out. They just said, I don't want to be involved, I'm not changing this. And it was very divisive. So sometimes you lose control because in order to represent collaborative work, you have to kind of accept groupthink on it. Anybody else have a point? I think there's a lot of stuff that the guys covered. I think it'd be really disappointing just because we're about to take a break not to ask a few questions. Yeah, brilliant.
I think the second side that you showed.
Scroll down.
Yeah. In this, it said that you can change the text into your own language. I just wanted to know that how many.
No.
That's a problem.
Oh.
When I see this website, I just that's my one. The designer and shows the visuals.
Okay.
I have a question to put, and it's to everybody. It's you guys and it's to everybody. And I want you to sort of think about it, and I don't have an answer. I have an opinion, but I'd be interested to hear yours. Okay, people make mistakes, people have different budgets, people have slightly different aims, but there's something very obvious about the intention or the strategy of both artists. If you just think about them as two artifacts, and why they're so incredibly different. And I don't think it's a deliberate thing, but there's something that strikes me really obvious, and you've touched on it a little bit because you've talked about things like scroll flow. Did you all? I didn't know scroll flow was a thing. Yeah. It is now because I've written it down. So next year when I lecture, I'm going to be talking about scroll flow as if I knew all about it. But why do you think they are so vastly positioned? What might have motivated that? That it might be a subconscious thing. But your whole presentation, you dealt with this really well. So I'm hoping somebody.
I think they have just different intentions. I mean, second website is a bad website, but if you think about the aim, of the goal that the author wanted to reach.
I think that is a very valid point, but I think it goes slightly beyond that. It's not about the intentions. I think it's about it's almost a personality thing. What did the first website really consider all the way through? Or who did they really consider all the way through? The client or the user. That was the thing. It wasn't so much client. They weren't aiming it at a client, but they used a lot of strategies to make it a user-friendly experience. Shh, guys. So that website's it's a user-friendly experience. I don't think this person considered the user at all. I think this person used this as a way of showcasing their work. And it's where you position yourself. And as a teacher, it's the similar thing. The temptation always as a teacher is to say, I have all the knowledge and I stand and I push all the knowledge out. When you become better as a teacher, you realize that actually you're creating an environment and you're making people ask questions, and you're making people interact and work together. And I think that's the first, they have a really good insight in what makes people connect. And you touched on it really well. You talked about there being kind of an expectation that you would be able to be playful, or the little strategies. You know, how was your weekend? Might seem a bit trite, but it does give you a warm, fuzzy feeling. So they're really they're very informed, and this guy just isn't. And it might be, he just maybe hasn't thought about it. It's all about me. It's all about my work on the website. So it could just be a lack of experience. It could be that this person is less experienced than the other group. Does that sort of, anyone have any comments on that? You're all just going, no, Mary, because it's break time. I'll let you go on a break if we get one more good comment from somebody who has not made a comment yet. There you go.
Actually, he's a teacher.
Is he a teacher? Well, that's yeah, it's a egomaniacal center of attention. I need to grow a beard.
He's handsome, man.
He is. I thought actually what was really interesting was the profile pictures. Can you go back and look at the profile pictures on your other site? I thought they were the best examples of profile pictures I've seen in a long time, because what they did is they weren't trying to show how clever or how hipster or how funny. It literally just shows you as if you were having a conversation with them. So again, there's guys, come on. There's strategy. I know I'm boring, but this is a really good point, and the boys made it, not me. The other site, yeah. So if you could go in, it's wherever you show the profile pictures.
Why did we do this?
Where you?
On the website.
Do that part.
Sorry, I know we need a break. I think it is worth looking at. Was it contact or about? There you go. Okay, guys, if I could just have your attention for 30 seconds. Just scroll up to one of those. Right, so let's analyse that.
Look at him, Thomas.
So what do we think? Come on.
Handsome, young looking.
Handsome,
Some
smart,
Got good
Yeah,
design
smart.
degrees.
shy,
Good pair of brains.
good hair,
good hair. Yeah,
good
yeah,
glasses.
yeah.
He made
He's a
it.
nice guy, I think.
Only one of the few Italians that actually speak Italian and mostly English.
Okay.
Treats the women well.
He did.
Hey, he's going for it. Asking Thomas.
Is there a contact number for Thomas? Okay, can you get another person in the site? Just any other person. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
he loves hamburger.
Okay. So I think it's just to cut, guys. I think it's just to pull back and go. That's a deliberate strategy. They sat around a table and discussed this, and they probably did a couple of photo shoots. And I would suggest that the person in the photograph didn't get to pick the picture, because I've put websites together and I have found that actually what you do is you set up a photo shoot and you have toys and you have games and you have things, you hit somebody in the face with a pie while your photographer is snapping, because posed pictures or pictures where people are trying to look smart and they're biting a pencil or they're like against they look awful. So you get some genuine pictures, and then I get to pick that person's photo. They get to pick mine, because we pick the picture that we think we reflects our inner. And this is a company, and they're trying to have a company ethos. The last thing is, can you look at the profile picture for the other website? And I think I don't know if it was a profile picture, but it was him slumped over a table. Yeah. Now what? Yeah. No, it wasn't even that one. There was one where he was literally.
Yes, I know which one.
He was like, "I'm so bored with life." Photograph.
It wasn't
Yeah, that one.
No, he's investigating things.
Do you think so?
It's the wrong way.
He lost his glasses.
It's
He's
the wrong
very
context.
close to the paper.
What it looks to me like he's sort of he's eyeballing us for
No,
a start.
It looks like he put the camera on sometime and I just didn't know where.
Or exactly. So you can even critique if you look at profile pictures. You can dig in a little bit. Okay, thank you guys. We're going to take 10 minutes. Okay. We're going to have to woo. Can we be back here sitting down ready to go in 10 minutes?